Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the new printing of Seven Wonders side by side with one of the previous printings. This happens to be my copy of the game, as you can see here. So I'm going to put these side by side. We'll take a look at the differences, the new artwork, the new design in some places, and also a couple of tiny changes to the game itself, alright? So we're going to start with the covers here. As you can see, this has basically the same motif as the other one on the cover, but the artwork is all new. The letters up here, you can tell, have been foiled in gold. I think you can see that. And you'll also notice, if you look closely, that the box is technically a little bit bigger. So if I have the bottoms here lined up like so, you'll be able to tell that this one is just a little bit of a bigger box, the new one. It's very tiny, it's very minor, but it is there. The other thing we'll notice right away from the outside of the box is the original printing of the game, up to now, was a 2 to 7 player game. The 2-player game being a bit of a strange variant, perhaps. Well, they finally decided not to contend with it anymore, and they've just dropped it. So it is now a 3 to 7 player game. There is no longer a 2-player variant in here or any mention of a 2-player way to play. Alright, so let's go ahead and cut to some of the contents inside, and now we'll show you what everything looks like. Here we've got the rulebook for the original game, with all the explanations of everything in there, of course. And we've also got on the back of that a description of the symbols. There was also this quick rules breakdown of how some of the scoring work, how some of the overview of the turns works, as well as another version of this on a loose leaf that you could pass around. The new rulebook has a very striking look to it, very clean, very bright. I like this look a lot. And it's going to, again, be just a very stark-looking rulebook. On the back here is an explanation of scoring, and then a standalone breakdown of the list of cards, the list of chains in the game. The back of this is nothing, just a symbol of the logo of the game. And instead, they've included 3 of these symbol breakdowns that you can pass around the table, with both sides showing you some of the icons you're likely to encounter. This is a good way to do it. This is certainly an improvement, I would say. I like the fact that these are included. I still don't know why they simply couldn't add enough for everybody at the table, but I suppose if you put one of these between 2 players, that should do the trick. So there you go, and again, the rulebook, I think, is a lovely design, and certainly, I would say, an improvement on the original one. Here we've got one of the monuments side by side. You can tell right away the new printing, which is this one here, is much larger of a plank of cardboard than the original one there. And there's also a change in the resource that it gives you. It's design, of course. Some of the symbology has changed, especially right here. And then the other thing that they've done is the original one, of course, had an A side and a B side with different powers. Now they are calling that the day side and the night side, with a graphical clue as to which side you're playing. So this one being the day side, identical artwork to this, though larger, a bit more of a showcase for that. And then on the back, a similar illustration, but set in the nighttime. And it is a lovely effect, as you can see, that it adds to the entire look of the game. There are new details. Some shady figures are gathered at the feet of the statue. It's nice and dusky, so it's very attractive. I love the look of it. Very well done. And the powers back here being, of course, different powers than what was on here. So you'll see again that there's been some changes to a couple of tiny things, and I'll show you some more later on in the game. You'll see these little adaptations sprinkled throughout, this being, I assume, what they've play tested over many years and decided to change these powers to. So there you go. I'll show you one more. Okay, let's take a look at Babylon side by side here. We've got the same artwork again, a bigger illustration over here. Change to the resource yet again. We've got a change to the costs along the way. The first one being identical, these two being different. And then on the back, this one retains the artwork, has a level here which is missing in the new one, and this one has the night look, of course. So there you go. Quite a lot of changes that again might seem fairly small, but I assume they add up. They're imperceptible on their own. They change the game overall. So I like the look of these. The larger size, it shows off more of the artwork. I guess that's nice. It's also going to take up a little more room on the table. But the cards are going to do some of the work to help alleviate that. Let me show you what I mean. Here we've got some cards from the first age in the original version of the game and the new one. These are counterparts. And you'll notice a few different changes right away. Of course, again, the artwork is enlarged, takes up more of the card. There is no longer the hard edge on these cards. The artwork spills all the way to the edge. I like that look. I don't like the black border on these. The same will be true on the back. I'll show you in 1 second. We have changed the locations of a couple of things. The names, for example, being down the side, are now directly across the top. We've also changed the way that the linking mechanism is denoted on the card. So if we take a look at the workshop here, for example, this lets us know that from it, you'll be able to bring into play the laboratory and the archery range. If you have this, you'll be able to play those for free. Well, now that same that same information is shown right here with these symbols. On the laboratory, for example, you'll have the cost for the laboratory, and then you'll have the symbol. And if you have this card, that symbol will match. You'll be able to play that for free. This is a cue, of course, that they took from Seven Wonders Duel, and I think it's a great change. It's very clean, very easy to see, very easy to learn and teach. One other thing, which might not be readily apparent, is that originally, to have a stack of cards, you had to splay them a little bit like this, just spread them out slightly sideways to still be able to see the name, because you cannot have repeats of the same exact card. Well, now because of the way the information is displayed, you can just have a column without that sideways motion, and it does save a little room on the table. It looks a little bit cleaner on the table, so I like that change as well. Some of the colors have been softened up a little bit. The textures are a little more clean. And there's a couple of small changes to the cards themselves. Much like we saw on the monuments, you'll see this card here. The victory point value is slightly different in the new one. There's been a couple of small changes to that. I'll show you those in 1 sec. So let's take a look at the backs of these cards. Here we've got the original look of these decks. And the new ones are all going to be metallic inks or gilded or what have you. This is going to be true for all of the decks in the game. So for example, we'll take a look here at the second stage, and you'll see that these are extremely shiny cards. Now they shuffle well. They shuffle surprisingly well, I would say. But they are very shiny, and I personally find the look extremely gaudy, to be honest. I don't like the way these look. I don't know. I mean, the copper, silver, and then gold would be the last one. I'll show you the gold deck here. Let me grab that. Here we go. There's the gold deck for the third age, or last epoch. It's extremely shiny and gaudy. It sort of looks like a gilded book, if you would. There you go. Not a big fan of that look. I'm not sure I like it, and I'm not sure why they went with something so striking, but it is a clean look. It does fit the front of these cards a little bit more. So there is that. At the end of the day, even though I'm not a big fan of the backs of the cards, the new look is certainly cleaner, and I have to assume the cards are going to be a little bit more balanced now after years of the game being available. Here we've got some of the cardboard pieces, largely the same. New look over here, previous look here. A little sharper, a little more striking. I definitely like the new aesthetic for the most part. Coins are the same, unfortunately. I was hoping that the coins would have had a change as well, especially after I saw the gilded cards or the foiled cards. I thought to myself, oh, coins are going to be very shiny. I'm sure they're going to do something special with the coins. And they didn't. They look the same. So that's surprising. But these are nice. They pop a little bit more on that black background. And I like what they've done with the victory point symbols across the board, which is give it the wreath look, but also that hard white background helps the number pop on there. So I like those very much. Now let me show you a couple of cards here. And just to give you an idea of the kinds of things that are different in the game balance-wise. Here's just a couple of the things I noticed. These are all going to be from the third age, okay? This card from the original game is entirely missing in the new game. Not sure why they removed it, but that's missing. The extra card comes in yellow. So there's a blue card missing, there's a new card in yellow. This card here in yellow is entirely missing. It is replaced by this one, which has a new symbol, a new power. Actually, this power is not in the original game at all. And then there's another copy of that, which is where that missing blue card is made up. So this one still exists. The arena card still exists. I believe there are 2 instances of it. This third instance of it is missing, and instead we have a new card here, this Ludus card, with that new symbol. So there you go. That's one change. And that's basically it. There's a lot of little changes like that that are hard to put one's finger on. I'm not certain why so many costs, and you'll look across them and find many of the costs have been tweaked, been changed, little adjustments like this. I'm not sure where all those changes come from. Part of me thinks that they've played a lot and, again, found that this is a better balance ultimately for the gameplay experience. Part of me, if I am going to accept that, then feels like, well, how balanced is the game right now? Are my costs in my copy of this game all wonky because of that? I assume not. I assume, again, that taking the game in a bubble, it's fine. The game's obviously held up and survived the test of time. But it does make me feel like, you know, they changed a lot of these little things. And those tiny changes, you put in enough of them, they have to compound into something. So there you go. Just a couple more cards here as I'm wrapping up. Thanks for checking this out with me, everybody. I appreciate you checking out this comparison video, seeing the new card, seeing the new edition of 7 Wonders. I am curious, and please tell me in the comments below, if you are already a fan of 7 Wonders, if you already do own the game, are you thinking you are going to upgrade to this one, where you'll be buying some of the expansions again, if you already had them? Or are you sticking with the one you've got and just going to allow this one to be the new version for brand new players going forth? Let me know in the comments below. That's going to be it for me. Thanks again, everybody. My name is Zee Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.